I think we are now live. Hello, this is Jack from Fluency.com and welcome to this English lesson where we are going to look at three different things today. Firstly, we're going to do a story. I'm going to read you a little bit of a story and then look at some of the vocabulary that we used and also look at the conditional that we're going to use too. Then we're going to have a look at how to use the present simple tense in English. We can use this to talk about the past, the present, and the future. The present simple for the past and the future. So we'll look at some examples. And then I'm going to share some idioms with you too. But if you are new here, there are three things to do. Well, four. Firstly, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Then smash that like button. Or you can just tap it lightly on your phone. Either way, click the like button. That really helps out me when I give these lessons because it tells YouTube that you like these lessons and that you want other people to see them too. Then also consider clicking the join button. Let me know if you can see or if you can't see the join button. This is where you can become a member of this channel. You're going to get badges. I'm actually going to add something new soon as well. And you can also, if you go for the higher membership, get lessons before anyone else. If you don't want to join, but if you want to help me out, then click the super chat button on the chat. And then after the video, watch more lessons. So after this video, definitely check out my other lessons here on YouTube. So how is everybody doing today? I am in the chat. We have Lily here, Said, Sarah, Yamna, Michelle, Lolly from France, Left Team, Heidi, Lucas, Lavina, Leah, Macarena. Lots of people here, which is great to see. There are currently 94 people watching and only 51 likes. So if you haven't clicked the like button yet, do that now. So, like I said, what we're going to do, we're going to have a look at the present simple a little bit later on. But we're also going to have a look at this story here, which I'm going to read to you all fairly soon. Now, before we start the story, I'll just tell you a little bit about why I'm really big on stories. I'm into stories because stories are a great way for you to learn English. Now, my son is currently learning how to read, and he really likes certain stories. I'm sure if you have children, you'll know how much that they like listening to stories too. So when it comes to English, stories are a great way to learn. What I recommend you do is you find some graded readers. They're called graded readers. And these are books that have been written with the English learner in mind. They have been written specifically for the English learner. And you can find them in text and also audio format. I have also written a couple of stories, and I want to do a little bit more of this, to write stories for you guys. And I'm probably going to give these away for free. Maybe the audio version you can pay for, but generally speaking, I'm going to give them away for free. Some are going to be true stories. Some are going to be fiction. That's the difference between non-fiction and fiction. So, let me have a look. We're going to do one today, which is non-fiction. And I'm just going to read this to you. So, settle down, feel free to relax. And also know you can listen to this story again on my website. There's a link in the description with the text and the audio for this. Okay, are you guys ready? I'm going to read. My computer is here. When I was 12, my family and I went on holiday to the south of England. My cousins went too, and we rented a house by the beach. Being kids, we wanted to go to the beach as soon as we got there, so we did. I decided to look for crabs in a pool nearby. Straight away, I saw something in the middle of the pool, but it wasn't a crab. I used my spade to lift it out of the pool of water and inspected it. I said to my mum, "It's a wallet with money in it." My mum took the wallet, took the money out and counted it. There was nearly £300 in there. What did we do with it? We took it to the local police station. They looked through their files to see if anyone had told them about their missing wallet. The policeman looked for 10 minutes but couldn't find anything. I was starting to think about what I was going to spend the money on. The police dried the money out and sent the wallet back to the owner. A week later, we got a phone call. It was the man who had lost his wallet. He called to thank me for finding his wallet and going to the police station with it. And a week later, he sent me a cheque for £15 as a reward. I bought a computer game with the money and felt good about doing the right thing. So I noticed a couple of errors in that story, which is fine. We all make mistakes. And also, I forgot to mention that the policeman found the person who had lost his wallet. Now, that is the past perfect. The policeman had found the person who had lost his wallet. So we're using here the past of the past. The policeman had found the person who had lost his wallet. A really good example of the past perfect there. But there's a question here that I think is really good to use in terms of an English lesson. And I've put it in the live chat too. If you had found that wallet, what would you have done with it? Okay. If you had found that wallet, what would you have done with it? That is the third conditional. If you had found that wallet, what would you have done with it? So leave your answers in the live chat. I've asked this question before. I'm very intrigued. I'm very interested to know what you guys are going to say. Now, while you're doing that, I'm just going to go back to the story and go through some of the vocabulary, and hopefully I can highlight it for you. So, we rented a house by the beach. So to rent a house means to pay money for a house, but for a specific amount of time. It can mean to rent a house long term, where somebody owns a house and you pay them money, you pay them rent every month to live in it. But you can also rent houses when it comes to vacations and holidays. We're looking at renting a house near a beach soon. That's something we want to do. Now, a crab. It's that animal that walks sideways. Lots of them at the beach. Somebody asked about a spade. So a spade is the same as a shovel. But at the beach, you use a spade to dig sand and to dig holes. So that's something else. This is a phrasal verb, to take out money. So take out money from the wallet. To remove money from the wallet. Now, this is another phrasal verbs. I was starting to think about what I was going to spend the money on. So to spend money on something. We're spending a lot of money on food at the moment. We're not spending a lot of money on the gym right now. And then here it is, a week later, and that should say wallet. A week later, we got a phone call. It was the man who had lost his wallet. So that's using the past simple again. A week later, he sent me a cheque for £15 as a reward. I bought a computer game with the money and felt good about doing the right thing. So let's go back to the chat now. I would have done the same, returned it to the owner. Athanasios says, I would have kept it. So we're using I would have. I would have. I would have kept it. I would have gone to the police station. I would have taken it and bought a lot of BTS things. What are BTS things? What is that? I would have done exactly the same. I would have sent it to the police station. I would have given it to a policeman or gone to the police station with it. So good. It's a great way to practice the third conditional, is to create these scenarios with it. But I remember at the time I was so excited about finding a wallet with lots of money in it. And what had happened was this guy was at the beach. It was near Bournemouth. I think it was called Poole, Poole, near Bournemouth. And he was sailing at sea, and his wallet fell out in the ocean, but the tide brought it in. The waves must have brought it in, which is quite astonishing, really. And then I remember being very excited about it. I think I was probably around 9 years old. So you can imagine a 9-year-old finding £300, which is about $500. And what, 20 years ago? It's a lot of money. Nearly 30 years ago. Wow. I think I would have spent the money because a child does not have knowledge about the law. Now I would give it to the police. I would have returned it to the owner. I would have tried to find the owner. Oh, BTS is a Korean band. I had no idea. I had no idea BTS was a Korean band. Okay, if you are joining, please press the like button. We are going to do questions and answers at the end. Before we do that, I'm going to do this next, which is the present simple. And I was thinking about doing this because I have a very popular video which talks about daily routines. And I talked about my daily routine, which I'm going to talk about again. But we're also going to look at how we use the present simple for daily routines, habits, future arrangements, or I've worded that differently. I'll have a look at that in a second. Past stories, and also the first conditional. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell that story again, but use the present simple to do this, and maybe the present continuous as well. So firstly, the present simple. And this is important because I like to focus on how to use verb tenses, in which situations, and to give you examples. Getting the examples and getting lots of sentences, that is going to teach you the grammar rules, the structure. Okay, for example, I go, he goes, we go, they go, etc. It's something you're going to learn naturally if you get lots of practice. So I'm going to focus, and I always focus, on when we use different tenses. And the first one is a daily routine. So look at this picture now. Look at this picture. You can see somebody doing different things during the day. So we have a guy here, and we can form sentences talking about a daily routine based on this. And you can just add your own times here. But the first one is, there's some sentences here. We can say things like, his alarm goes off at 6 a.m. His alarm goes off at 6 a.m. So the alarm to go off in the present simple goes off. His alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and then he gets out of bed. To get out of bed. He then brushes his teeth and takes a shower. Now you can also say has a shower. Take, have, but takes a shower. We'll use that for this example. After that, he gets ready. Now, we've already used get up and get ready. Get up, get ready. He gets ready and then goes to work. He then looks at his emails, or he does emails in the morning. And then after that, he meets clients. So I think that's what that picture is, to meet a client. So he meets clients. Then he has lunch with his colleagues. After getting back from work, he watches TV before going to bed. So that last sentence is a little bit more of an advanced structure where he watches TV before going to bed. So that is how to use the present simple with a daily routine. Now I'm going to tell you about my daily routine now, because that is one of my most popular videos. So I'll explain what my daily routine is right now. And I'm going to change the screen so you can see me. So most days I wake up around 7 o'clock at the moment. My children don't have school right now, so they are sleeping in a little bit later. But most days I wake up at about 7 a.m. Or more specifically, my children wake me up. My children wake me up at 7 a.m. And then on most days, I go downstairs, make myself some tea, make my wife some tea, and get some breakfast for my children. Then I tidy up, get changed, and go to work and go to the office. When I get to the office, normally I take around 20 minutes to check my emails, to look at some news, and sometimes check some soccer stuff as well. And then I start thinking about what I'm going to do for the day. Normally what I do is make videos or go live on YouTube or create some new courses, for example. But mainly what I'm doing is very creative. I don't normally have lunch at work. Instead, I just drink a lot of tea. And then around 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock, I either go to the soccer field or the football pitch in British English and play a bit of football, or I go to the pool with my family. And then after that, we normally meet some neighbours and our children play together. And then I prepare dinner, we have dinner together, we read some stories. My wife puts the children to bed while I clean the house downstairs. And then my wife and I usually have about an hour together where we might watch something or just chat, and then we go to bed. So that is my daily routine at the moment. It's a good idea if you want to practice this to write down your daily routine. And then to get even more practice, write about what you did yesterday. So we can go back to this structure here on Keynote and just look at this again. And instead of saying it in terms of a daily routine, we can talk about it in terms of the past. So yesterday, his alarm went off at 6 a.m. and then he got out of bed. He brushed his teeth before having a shower. He then got changed, went to work, did some emails, met with clients, and then had lunch with his colleagues. When he got home from work, he watched TV before going to bed. Okay, so you can see here how this is really good practice, because what you're doing is you're going from the present simple to the past. But the first step is to write about your present routine. What do you do on a daily basis? What is your daily routine? And I recommend using something like Grammarly when you're writing this so you can see any mistakes that you make. And if you want to get personalized feedback, then find a teacher who can give you writing feedback. And this is how you're really going to go from taking vocabulary that you know or you think you know to producing sentences in a way that will help you express yourself while speaking. So that's a little task for you, some homework to do. But write about your daily routine, and then if you want to go further, write about what you did yesterday. Okay, let's go to the chat again. I'll read some of what people are saying here. I get up, I brush my teeth, and take a shower after I have my breakfast. Somebody asked, do you have 5 o'clock tea? No, I used to. Or I used to have 6 o'clock tea, where we had dinner. And this is talking about a daily routine in the past. When I used to live at home with my parents, we had dinner and then we had tea after dinner, black tea. But right now, I stopped drinking tea around, or caffeine, I stopped drinking caffeine around 2 p.m. And then I normally have what's called a bedtime tea before bed. Thank you for the kind words, Adam. That's really nice. I'm used to getting up at 5 o'clock and then I get ready to go tutor. Yeah, in this case, you just say, I normally get up. I normally get up at 5 o'clock. That's the way to talk about it in that sense. If you're just joining live, please click the like button if you haven't done so yet. This really helps me reach more people. Thank you. So let's go back to talking about the present simple. So far we have used it to talk about our daily routine. We can also use it to talk about fixed events in the future. Okay. This might seem strange to you that we use the present simple to talk about the future, but we do. So you can see a lady here is at the airport, and you can also see a couple kissing. Isn't that nice? They're just kissing at the airport, which could be because one of them is leaving on a plane very soon. But anyway, look at this first example. Quick, our flight leaves in 10 minutes. Quick, our flight leaves in 10 minutes. What we're doing here is we're talking about a flight in the future, but we're using the present simple. Okay, our flight leaves in 10 minutes. And we use this specifically, the present simple, to talk about the future when there is a fixed event in the future. Usually public transport, flights, classes, meetings, etc. So let's look at the other two examples. First one is a question. When does the class start? Teacher, when does the class start? We're talking about a future event, but we're using the present simple. And the next one, I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. So again, we're using the present simple to talk about an event in the future. This is specific. We don't use it to talk about actions. So we don't say, we don't use it in terms of like, I dance tomorrow at 9 p.m. You would say, I'm going dancing at 9 p.m. But we use it when things are on a schedule. Events, as Kubra said. But that's right. Someone says here, the train comes at 7 p.m. Exactly. My meeting is at 7 p.m. And Adam, we don't use it to talk about dinner. Okay. A good way to think about it is when it's the same time for everybody. So, the flight is the same time for everybody. The class is the same time for everybody. The meeting is the same time for everybody. But when it's something more personal, for example, if you are driving somewhere and it's not on a timetable, you say, we're leaving in 10 minutes. Come on, hurry up. Get ready. We're leaving in 10 minutes. Because it's not on a schedule. You're making the decision to leave at that time. Come on, hurry up. We're leaving in 10 minutes. For example. Okay. Let's go back to the chat. Sarah has given us her daily routine. I wake up at 10:45. You wake up at 10:45 a.m. That's quite. I haven't actually. I did. I woke up at 11 a.m. about a month ago, but it's very rare that I wake up at that time. Anyway, I'm going to read this. I wake up at 10:45 a.m., brush my teeth, and after that I go and check if there are any WhatsApp messages. After that I have breakfast. I usually eat a sandwich with a cup of hot chocolate and check the... What do you check? There's nothing else. Shaza will... If anyone has questions, we'll talk about that at the end. We'll stay on topic for now. Hurry up, the train leaves in 5 minutes. The train leaves in 15 minutes. I go to yoga class at 5 o'clock. Yeah. So, yoga class, you can say, I go to yoga class on Tuesdays at 5, a daily routine. The yoga class starts in 1 hour, a future event. My course starts at 3 o'clock. This is a great question. But the fixed events has to be repetitive, or can it be a one-time event? It can be a one-time event. For example, I can say, my class starts in 10 minutes. It's one-time event. Oh. Let's see. In Russia, we have the same rule about the present simple when we're talking about the future. That's good. That makes it easy, or easier. I usually get up at around 9 a.m. I take a shower, brush my teeth, and take my coffee or smoothie. Have. Yeah, so here, when we're talking about coffee, breakfast, have. Have my breakfast, have a coffee, have a smoothie, have some cereal, have some beans on toast, have a full English breakfast. That's how we use it, talking about food in the morning. Have is very useful. Have lunch, have dinner, have breakfast, have coffee. Have a beer, have some wine, have some water, have a banana, etc. So that's a really good example there. Monica says, I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's very early. And I do a 30-minute workout, and after that I have a shower, make breakfast and lunch, try to get ready as soon as possible, and go to work at 7 a.m. Wow. You are very busy in the morning. That's amazing. That is amazing. Somebody says, it is called a collocation. Yes, we're talking about collocations. Have a bath, have a shower, have breakfast, have a smoothie, have some coffee. Have a cup of tea. Have a rest. Exactly. We're talking about collocations. I love collocations. They're so useful. They're very, very useful. Because this is how people speak in a more natural way. Okay, let's go back to this now. Fixed events. So yeah, we talked about fixed events. We're also going to talk about the present simple when talking about stories. Okay, now I'm going to save this for after the break. We're going to have a quick break, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and then when we come back we'll talk about the present simple to talk about the future, the past, and then also using the present simple to talk about the first conditional. Okay, so let's have a quick break and I'll be back in 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, I am back. Lolly says, "What a great song! Love it." Yeah, it's a fantastic song, and I think I'm going to do a lesson on it. I just need to find all the lyrics first, but it's a really good song. I'll get the artist and also the name of the song for you. But if you haven't clicked that like button, click it now. Also, like I said before, you can join to Fluency YouTube channel as a member. I'll go back to this page. You can click the join button to become a member. Do you see a join button? Let me know if you don't see it. And then be sure to watch more lessons after this one. So what we've done so far is we've talked about the present simple for daily routines. This guy has a very average day, wakes up at 6 o'clock, goes to work. He has lunch, then he watches TV, then he goes to bed. But that's his daily routine. Then we talked about using the present simple for future fixed events. Quick! Our flight leaves in 10 minutes. When does the class start? I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon. And then we can also use it to talk about stories. Stories in the past. All right, are you ready? So, I get to the campground and I realise that something is wrong straight away. I look in the trunk and can't find my tent. Luckily, I have a hammock and sleep in that. It's a very simple story, but do you notice we're using the present simple to talk about something that happened in the past? I get, it should say to the campground, and I realise that something is wrong straight away. I'm going to actually change this. That feels better. And I realise that something is wrong straight away. I look in the trunk and can't find my tent. Luckily, I have a hammock and sleep in that. So we're using the present simple to talk about a story in the past. And it's normally done with the intonation of when you are around people and you're telling a story that is interesting or it's funny or something happens. So you can imagine it more like this. So I get to the campground and I realise that something is wrong straight away. I look in the trunk and I can't find my tent. Luckily, I have a hammock and sleep in that. Again, not the most interesting story in the world, but you can tell by the intonation and the way I'm telling this story is that you want people to listen. Okay, you want people to listen. Somebody asked what the trunk is. In British English, it's called the boot. The boot. The storage at the back of the car. The boot or the trunk. Now, what I can do here is take this story and talk about it using the present simple. Now, I haven't practiced this, so it might not be perfect. But here it goes. My parents and I go to the beach with my cousins, and I'm really excited about trying to find some crabs. So I find this pool of water at the beach, and I go over there to look for crabs. I look in the middle, and I see something in the middle, and I think, is this a crab? So I take my spade, and I dig out the crab. I bring it closer to me, and then I realise it's a wallet with money in it. So I give the wallet to my mum. She looks at the money and she counts it out. There is £300 in there. Now, I want to keep this money, but the right thing to do is to go to the police station and to see if somebody has lost this. So I go to the police station, give it to the policeman. He looks through the files of missing things from the beach and he says, I can't find anything with the wallet. So what we'll do is we'll dry out the money because it's wet through. And if we can't find it, then you can keep it. You can keep the money. So he goes and he dries out the money, comes back, and then he goes through the book one more time. And then he says, look, I found it. There's somebody who has lost their wallet right here. So he calls the person. They say, yes, I've lost my wallet. And he sends the wallet to the person who had lost it. A couple of weeks later, I get a phone call. And it's the man who had lost his wallet. He says, I would like to send you some money because you found my wallet. I'm going to send you £15 as a check. And I take this money and I buy a computer game with the money. Okay, so that is the story using the present simple to talk about something that happened in the past. And if you notice the intonation, it's different to what I used when I talked about it using the past simple before. Now, again, I'll leave a link to the story in the description so you can read it again and look at some of the vocabulary. But you might have noticed as well that at times I used the past simple. So it's not a strict rule where you just use the present tenses to talk about something in the past, but it allows you to just be more expressive. It, generally speaking, makes the audience more focused on your story. Okay? So it makes them more focused. It makes them more attracted to what you're saying because you're using the present simple to make it sound more immediate, more real, like they are there at the same time. So it's a really useful way to talk about something in the past. If you are an English learner, then don't force this, but just know that when people use this, this is what they're talking about. Don't get confused when they're using the present simple or the present continuous to talk about a past event. All right, let's go back to the chat. Somebody says, my wallet is lost right now. Well, that's not good. I hope you find it. I hope you find it. Someone just said, I hope you find it, which is great. The wallet story is stellar. That's cool. What does hammock mean? So in that picture, there was a picture of a hammock. If I turn on this one, you can see she is currently drinking, I don't know what, but in a hammock. Now, the reason I talked about a hammock and camping is because I went camping at the weekend. So it's something that I'm thinking about now. Right, I'm going to answer again. I'm going to answer questions at the end. So if you have any questions, please leave them to the end, especially if they're not on topic. Now, the next way that we can use the present simple that I want to share today is the first conditional. Okay? So this is how we can use the present simple as part of the first conditional. So if you just see this first example, if I have time, I'll do it. If I have time, I will do it. A lot of people make the mistake of using I will and I will when we're using the first conditional. But we use it using the present simple in a lot of cases. So, if I have time, I'll do it. If you see her, let her know. The next part of that one is the imperative, the command, let her know. If you see her, let her know. If you see her, let her know. They'll come if they remember. They'll come if they remember. Now, notice the comma here. We use the comma after the if clause if it's at the start, But you don't use a comma in that third sentence because the if clause is at the end. You can switch it round. I'll do it if I have time. Let her know if you see her. If they remember, they'll come. So you can swap those sentences round. But the first one, if I have time, I'll do it. This is what a lot of people use when it comes to, trying to make excuses for not doing something. Lolly says, if you see my sentence, I will be happy. That's very clever. If you see my sentence, I will be happy. So that's the other way we can use it when we're using the present simple as a first conditional. Now, the first conditional is used for real situations, not hypothetical, but just real situations in the future. So if I have time tomorrow, I'll do it. If I have time tomorrow, I'll definitely do it. If you see her later, let her know. If you see her, let her know that her dog is missing. They'll come if they remember. They'll come to the party tomorrow if they remember. They'll come to the party tomorrow if they remember. Good. So that's how we can use the present simple. Again, just as a practice, go to this daily routine and write down your daily routine. Use Grammarly to help you with this and also get feedback from a teacher. Now, if you want to get bonus practice, then talk about what you did yesterday and try to use some of the same verbs, some of the same sentences, but just mix it up a little bit. Mix it up a little bit. Okay, so we are at the time where we're going to do questions and answers. So if you have any questions about what we have talked about today, about me, about learning English, then now is the time to ask them. Winston Smith here, which is probably a reference to the book 1984, says, by the way, Jack, would you like to make a lesson about English punctuation? I don't manage to find enough clear information about it. Thank you very much. It's a really good topic. It's going to make notes. Now, I use Apple Notes for a lot of things. For example, this is my camping list. And it says, pack bacon. Number one thing is to pack bacon, to make sure I take bacon. Next one is sausage and then sandwiches. Remember to bring charger and also remember to pick my football fantasy team. So my priorities are pretty strong. But on here, what I do is I have a list for English lesson ideas. And then I make a list of lesson ideas. And then I make them, which is kind of cool. But I've added it to the list. English Arts Academy is here. Good to see you again. I'm glad you have made the second half. Someone says these topics are quite easy. Please go through something difficult. If that's the case, then watch my lessons, the conversation lessons. Those are using faster English. I'll leave a link in the chat here if I can remember my secret code. I think it's play conv. No. Anyway, go to my channel after this and find the conversation lessons because they're a little bit more challenging. What is your top tip to learn English? It's a broad question, I know. Yeah, my top tip is to find sentences that are specific to you as an English learner and find the audio too, and then listen, repeat, record, compare. So listen to the sentence, repeat it, record your version, and then compare the two. And then get long-term repetition when it comes to the sentences. So use something like Anki. It's a big method, but it's a fun one. It's a fun one to use. Jack, have you taken photos of landscapes around your city? Yeah, I used to do quite a lot of photography. I haven't done so much since, well, city photography since children, just because of priorities and time restraints. But yeah, I love photography, and I might share some photos in a live lesson. That could be quite good fun to do in the future. What do you think about the presidential election in Poland? Do you prefer Duda or... I'm not quite sure. I know there's a populist candidate who is currently the president, and the media are saying it's going to be very close. Usually when that's the case, I think the populist president is probably going to get a second term, if that's the second term, going to win the election. That's my thought. I don't know a lot about Polish politics, though. I've watched so many videos about would versus could versus can. Would, could, and can. And I still can't understand it. This is where the sentence method really helps, because what you can do is take sentences using would, should, can, might, etc., modal verbs, and then get lots of repetition with these sentences. The first part is to understand what using it means, so how to use it in the right way, and then get lots of sentences, because from those sentences you're going to internalize and really know the meaning. I'm very weak in English vocabulary. Should I learn essential English? Yeah. Learn basic sentences. Learn everyday English sentences, and then learn vocabulary that way. If you go to my channel page, the first video you see is all about this method I've talked about. So I leave that video there so people can easily watch it. What do you think about the American election? I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And I also think it's very divided. That's all I'm going to say. Click the like button to help me out. We're very close to 200 likes. So let's get more than 200 likes before it ends. Have you worked out this week? Yes, I have. I did some pull-ups and push-ups yesterday, and I'm going to go to the soccer fields today and do about 45 minutes. That's what I like to do the most, is play football, play football, soccer, play foot-sock. That's what I like to do most. What about to write the same story but in different levels? That's a good idea, Ivor. Winston says, Jack, we know that you have a dog, even 2 dogs, unless I'm confused. Would you like to talk about them and show them? Just kidding. Yeah, we had 2 dogs. One died in December, I think, which was very sad. We still have 1 dog. He's fantastic. I was thinking about doing a video where it's called How to Talk to Your Dog in English, and have our dog in the video. Do you have any videos about reported speech? I don't think I've done anything on reported speech. I actually find that topic a little bit boring. I know it might not be the best thing for a teacher to say, but personally, reported speech, I don't find it that interesting, but I will look into it. Well, let's just see what we discussing about. It is question and answer time. We have 202 likes. Thank you so much, everyone. Short stories will be very helpful too. Can you teach us in the future when someone has lost his wallet and reporting to the police? Yeah, I think that's a little bit... when you're talking about stories, I don't think you talk about them in the future. I know you love soccer. Do you know Olympique de Marseille in France? Yeah, I do know a little bit about Marseille. I know people say they have the best fans in France, so they're the loudest in the stadium in France. But I don't know too much about how they are doing in Ligue 1 today. So I'm not quite sure about that. What's your favourite TV show? I haven't seen a TV show for a while. I just watch history documentaries at the moment. I spend a lot of time on history documentaries. Marga says, idioms, please. All right. Seeing that you asked for them, I'm going to give you 3 idioms today. Here they are. First one. All about time, these ones. Better late than never. Okay, better late than never. So you can use this if you do something and it's a little bit late. For example, you might give your teacher an essay and it's a little bit late. And the teacher says, this is late. And you say, well, better late than never. Which to say is it's better to do it late than not to do it at all. Better late than never. The next one is all in good time. So you can say here, all in good time, which means just be patient. We'll get this finished all in good time. Just be patient about it. And then the last one is time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. Time is flying by at the moment. Time flies, which just means time goes very quickly. Very quickly. So yeah, time flies. There you go. Some idioms I prepared. We'll go back to this. I'm new to your channel, sir. Well, add it. Welcome. Click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And then we can go from there. Then you can know when I go live. I want to go live every Tuesday at 2 o'clock. That is my goal. We're going to see how that works out. It's all about trying to make sure I can definitely do it every Tuesday. So then I do it instead of missing a week and missing a week. So, yeah. Jack, could you please speak an American accent for us? I did it in a recent video where I did it in the New York accent a little bit. Is that good? And then I tried to do the nice southern accent that they use around here. Or like the Texas accent, where it's a little bit more in your mouth. But then I find it difficult to do a regular American accent. I have to emphasize it and go silly because I can't do it otherwise. When I watch your videos, time flies. Isn't that lovely? Lolly. That's why you're an admin here on the channel. Lolly from France. Today is my first day. It is an interesting lesson. I like it. Mimi, welcome to the channel. Please, I'm going to have to... Sorry. Somebody just keeps posting the same comment. But welcome to the channel, Mimi. It's great to have you here. Can you tell us a quote in this lesson? I don't know what you mean by that, but how different is British English to Australian? They are quite similar in certain ways. And it depends where in Australia people are talking from. So I know Brisbane can be quite strong. But maybe somewhere like Sydney is a little bit more neutral. And the Australian accent can be quite similar to the London one at times. And again, it depends which British accent, but generally speaking, they are more similar than the British and American ones. If you could travel to any country, which country would you travel to first? Probably, probably England, because I can't travel anywhere right now. So if I could travel to England, I'd go there. Yeah, to go back home for a little bit. We should be in England now. You are a huge motivation to my more natural English learning process. I've also discovered you recently. I'm so glad. Well, again, thank you so much. It's my first day live on the channel. So many people who are new here. It's great to have you all here. We're going to do this every Tuesday, okay? And before you all leave, please share this lesson with other people. So just click that share button and share it with others. And like I said before, let's go back to this. Are you ready? There are a few things that you can do to help me. Smash the like button before you leave. Click the join button to become a member if it's available in your country. And watch more lessons after this one. If you want something a little bit more informal, more advanced, then look for the conversation lessons. Just go to playlists and you'll be able to find those. All right, everybody, again, thank you so much for being here. It's been my pleasure to teach you today. And yeah, if you could share this lesson, I will be very grateful. Okay, I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.